There we go. Hey guys, I am currently recording and I wanted to open up this call is about tracking. And we have some people here who are new to 2B Mindset and people who have been doing 2B Mindset for a while. And this call is all about tracking. And before we can talk about how to track, so important you understand why we are tracking. So I hope that you are by a computer, and if you aren't, then you can re-watch this again at home when you are in front of your computer. You're going to open up to 2B Mindset, and you're going to go to Resources. In the Resources, you're going to go to Tracker, and you are going to download the tracker. If you live in the US, Canada, or the UK, you will receive a beautiful printed color version of a 3-month version of this tracker. If you are in Israel or you chose to get the digital only version, then you get a 1-month version of the tracker. And what I do is I take it to a printer, a local print shop, and I have them make 3 copies and bind it for me. And you could do spiral, you could do it like this. I like mine black and white, and I like mine a little smaller than a regular page so that it fits easily into my purse. This is really, really important. Before we continue, I want to talk about why the heck we're tracking. We're tracking because the only way that you're going to truly transform your mindset, the only way you are going to have a positive relationship with food, your body, and your weight is to, without any shame or any guilt, track everything you eat for the first 6 to 8 weeks that you start 2B Mindset, or from whichever point starting 2B Mindset that you're actually really ready to tick up your results and heal your relationship with food. How does tracking heal your relationship with food? When you track what you're eating without shame, without guilt, and you track the cookies that you ate or the ice cream that you ate with as much detail and appreciation as you track that amazing salad or stir fry that you ate, you're really going to get to learn your patterns. You're really going to get to learn your triggers, and you're really going to get to learn that it's okay. And there are things that put you in a positive frame of mind and really help you to lose weight and maintain healthy habits to support that healthy weight. And you're going to see that we all, myself included, have lots of patterns that we learned in our childhood or in our adult life that became our comforting patterns that have got us to the weight that we are starting at, and that every time we kind of get lost, we kind of sink back into those patterns. And when you start to see the pattern of your hormonal cycle in your tracker, when you start to see the pattern of every time your in-laws visit, or every Jewish holiday, or every Shabbos, all of a sudden you can release the expectation that you're going to wake up to this fantasy of something being different, and you can actually get to the work of doing small changes, small swaps, so that you actually create new habits and new comforting scenarios and new protocols, how to handle eating out, or which are your favorite restaurants to do takeout for, and what really works to support your success. But as long as you're not tracking, especially when you're eating foods that you might feel are off limits or not clean or not good, the more that you're going to keep furthering that on or off, good or bad, clean or dirty nonsense around food. I had a great day that I was full and satisfied and nourished and moving towards my ideal weight, or I was full and satisfied and nourished and stayed at my same current weight, or I was full and satisfied and nourished and moving up in weight. Okay, But those are the things you want to be putting in your tracker. And then you're going to have days where you're not full, not satisfied, not nourished, not feeling like you took great care of yourself. And you need to track those too, because those are the days where you're going to be like, wow, I deserve better. I deserve to treat myself better. And I'm going to figure out and learn how to do that. So there's a few ways to access your tracker. Number one is buy the actual tracker from teambeachbody.com. Your coach can send you a share cart and you can just get it with your original program. You can get it at any time if you run out. Just order the beautiful book. Every time I get myself one, it feels like a treat. But download it. It's option 2. And send it to a professional printer. For under $20, they are going to make you a beautiful 3-month laminated tracker. Option number 3, I'm going to include with this recording a PDF I made. That's the screenshots of how to download the Adobe app onto your phone. And this PDF that we download here, I'll show you, is actually writable. And in Adobe, you can fill it out on your phone. You can fill it out on your computer if you're kind of more of a computer person. And then when you want to share it with your coach and maybe get feedback, you can actually email it straight from your computer to your coach. Okay, and I'm going to show you how it's done. Here, to be mindset tracker. Okay, so let's say you're going to download it. To be mindset tracker. Downloaded it. And if I open it up, I can actually write on my computer, type into it whatever I want. And then I could just click on these 3 dots right over here. I could upload it and send it to my coach. I could share it to a group. I could take a screenshot of any of the pages that I needed to. Okay, and you could do this on your phone. See, I could type straight onto it or on your computer. Those are the best ways to use the To Be Mindset Tracker. But let's say you don't like any of those ways. You don't like to track on your phone. You don't like to track on your laptop. You don't like to track in a book you printed. You don't like to buy a tracker. There's still more options to track. You can track on your cell phone using the Nutrition Plus app. And that we will do a separate tutorial video about how to use the Nutrition Plus app, but you must have the US store. It is for US people only. So if you have a US store on your iPhone or a US store on your Android, we will do a separate tutorial video, and Beachbody has one as to how to use the app. However, in my personal opinion, that is amazing for maintenance. But if you actually want to show your tracker to anybody to get any feedback, or you want to be able to look back at your tracker and see what's working for you, you are absolutely going to want to have a handwritten one or a copy that you can easily share by doing what we did here and downloading it to your computer. You can also email it to yourself and open it on your phone as well in Adobe, the Adobe application, the free application, and we will do a separate video and PDF on how to do that. I want to really focus on how you start using this tracker correctly. Any questions up to this point before we move on? We talked about why we're tracking, the mindset around tracking. We downloaded it. We know where to get it. we know where to buy it.
Lily?
Yeah.
I'm going to say one thing in terms of the tracking with using the app. Now they've upgraded it. If you have the Beachbody On Demand app, on the bottom, there's something that says tracking. And in there, you open that up. It's not just, it used to be in there just water and weight, and I think Shakeology Performance Line. Now there's also something that says nutrition, pick your nutrition plan.
Correct.
And you go in there, and so now it's not only, now I think it's not going to be the Nutrition Plus app anymore. Everything's going to be on the Beachbody On Demand app.
Great. So, because I know right now they have both, but it sounds like they're going to discontinue, guys, the Nutrition Plus app, and everything will be in the Beachbody On Demand app. Let me see if I can show you guys what that looks like here from my phone. If you don't have the Beachbody On Demand app, it is really worth downloading, and you can download it if you have a US Apple Store or a Google Play Store. And you can stream your workouts while you're traveling from here. Here it is. Let me see. Yeah. No. Hold on. No, it's not going to work. I'll put a screenshot in the group and include it in the PDF because you're going to get too much of a reflection, I think. Oh, wait. Right there. BOD, Beachbody On Demand, in your Apple Store. And you can track in there. It all goes back to, why are you tracking? If your mindset around tracking is, I am doing this to measure, am I being successful or am I failing? I am doing this to measure, am I being good or am I being bad? I'm doing this to measure my worth. That is not tracking with 2B Mindset. Tracking with 2B Mindset is, I want to have a healthy and positive relationship with myself, my body, and what I'm eating. And the only way to do that is to own with 100% honesty and authenticity every bite, lick, and taste that goes in my mouth, that actually being aware of it. So even if you are tasting a lot of different foods, put them all in. And like Alana likes to say, if you're having a cookie, really describe that cookie. I had 6 cookies. They were delicious. They were big. They were chocolate chip. They were small. They were butter cookies. They were made with, you know, brown sugar, real sugar, or they were stevia. It is really, really important that you put in the details in what you're doing. Okay? Let's talk about what are your options to really get the most out of this tool. If our goal is to have a positive relationship with our body, to have a positive relationship with our weight loss, here is a summary of the tools that you're going to find, and every single one of these unlocks another 5 pounds. No joke. You don't have to start doing all these things at once, but the more of them you do, the easier and easier you're going to find losing weight and maintaining your goal weight. Number 1 is actually really setting goals for each month of tracking. Setting a mindset and intention. I love using the bar cards to set intentions because I didn't grow up with this kind of language, and it wasn't something that came easy to me at the beginning. So having the bar cards was super helpful. Like today, I am awesome. I share my fabulous energy with the world. What would that look like if I put that in my mindset as one of my goals? Is I want to feel awesome every day. I want to feel like I am really sharing my fabulous energy with the world. And that's how I'm going to decide what my goal is, what my mindset is for that day. You take your measurements, and this is really important to take pictures and measurements exactly like it says, because there are times you're going to get to the end of a month and you're going to want to look back and the scale might not have changed because of choices you've made, or hormonal changes, or medications, or sleep changes, or food you've eaten. And you've seen maybe a difference in your body. Maybe you're seeing a difference in your inches, and that's telling you that, hey, you're on the right track. you're doing really good things for your health and yourself. And just with a tiny tweak, you're going to be able to also see the scale go down. The next section we're going to go over is my week at a glance. And not everybody is going to start off looking a week ahead and planning their dinners ahead of time or meal prepping. But every single time you do that, you are going to find an increase in your ability to be consistent, because you're just going to stop being surprised by what's constantly happening in your life. The next area is the grocery list. And people think, I know for me, for a very long time, I skipped over this section. Now I use it to get myself to maybe try a new recipe with ingredients I might not have around, and to experiment with a new FFC, fiber-filled carbohydrate. I look at the food list and I say, hey, are any of these vegetables ones I haven't eaten in a long time? I'll put them in my grocery list. Are any of these carbs really good for me and I just got out of the habit of making them or buying them? I'll put them in my food list. Have I gotten really bored and I forgot that there are other proteins out there other than chicken and tuna and eggs? It's awesome to have that protein list to go through and see what other options are there. Accessories, did you forget that you can make these meals amazing and delicious? All these things can go in the grocery list. Daily tracking pages. Here's where you'll track your weight, your water, and everything you eat every day. Also, you want to keep an eye on your poops. That's because eating more fiber can help you be regular. Also, a lot of times when people seriously up their veggies into B mindset, they actually can get constipated and really kind of deal with how their body handles gas, how their body handles all that fiber. And keeping an eye on that is really going to help you get a feeling for what's happening in your body and having that positive relationship with your body that you're looking for. The food lists are also included in every single tracker. So like I said, you can go back and refer to them to make sure you're setting up your grocery list and your meals right. This is where we set our goal. And each month can have its own goal, where your weight is, where you want your weight to be, and be reasonable. Remember, every 2 pounds is success. Every 2 pounds deserves to be celebrated like it's going to be your final 2 pounds. Here's your measurements. A really common question I get on this is, how do I know if I'm doing these right? Do the best you can to do your chest on the bra line, your waist at the belly button, your hips in the middle of your butt. And they have wonderful videos on YouTube to show you exactly how. And if you ask your coach, we can absolutely share a how-to video on how to do it. But the fact of the matter is, do your best. Okay, we're not any of us bikini competitors here who are worried about our exact measurements. We want to do our best and see that we're going in the right direction. This is Alana's sample page of how she would pre-track her week, the week at a glance section. And this, when I use, I am significantly more successful in creating that consistency and honest, authentic expectation of what my week is actually going to look like. So she puts in her breakfast, her lunch. She says, mix and match freezer staples at the office. She doesn't know exactly what she's going to have, but she knows that she needs to keep her freezer at the office stocked, and she's going to grab her lunch from there. Snacks this week, she's going to be focused on just having water and snackable veggies. She's not going to be worried about taking a fruit with her. She's not going to be taking nuts with her wherever she goes. She's going to make sure she never leaves her house without water and veggies. And then for dinner, she wants to really have planned ahead of time because of her schedule with her kids. So she knows she's going to have the 2B mindset recipe of the honey mustard salmon with roasted veggies. And then she puts in appointments and classes and things that she has so that she knows if she has to go shopping that day in order to have a successful week. If, wow, why is she having her Shakeology? Because she has to get her daughter to school really early in the morning and she wants to have an easy morning, versus writing that you're going to have eggs and vegetables and maybe a whole to do in the morning. And then you look at the time you have to get your kids out or onto Zoom and you're like, oh, that's not realistic. Let me actually look at the big things I have happening and make sure that my plan is realistic. Okay. Tuesday, you see here, she's planning on really upping her water and not even having a veggie snack, which means when she's planning her day, she's not going to be as worried about what she's taking with her. She knows she has what she needs. And between meals, she's really focused on drinking water that day. Maybe she knows she's having an earlier dinner. As you see, she doesn't have later clients that day, whatever it's going to be. Wednesday, she makes sure that she's having a really good snack because it's her date night and she doesn't want to go to her date night too hungry. These are the kind of details you want to put in so that you're set up for a really successful week. Now, how do you track your actual day to day? Before we go into this, I want to take a pause and check in with you guys. Any questions so far about the attitude and the mindset we want to have towards the tracker, and that this tracker is not here to punish you. It's not here to judge you. It's just here to help you make choices that you want to make in an organized fashion. Okay, I'm checking in here with the, let's see, with the chat. Anybody have any questions? Do you want to unmute yourself?
Tammy's raising her hand. Tammy has a question.
I have a question. Do you hear me?
Yes.
So what do you do like when you miss a day? Like I've been really good for the past, I don't know, like month and a half. And then past 2 weeks, I've been like a little woohoo. And I missed like 2 days and I'm like, I left the things blank. And then I weighed myself and I'm like, eh. Like when I lose the weight on Shabbos, I always like run to track because I want to remember. But when I gain, I'm like, eh. So I don't. Should I still go back and try to track or?
Yep, absolutely. For the exact reason we stated at the beginning. If the whole point of the tracker is not to have a perfect tracker of all weight loss days, but to really, when you look back and 6 months from now, you're like in this great place, you've lost so much weight, and all of a sudden you have Shabbos that are off. You want to be able to look back at a Shabbos that you gained weight and be like, oh, I see, I totally fell into that same pattern. Look, every Shabbos, my mother-in-law visited. Oh, look, every Shabbos I make that cookie. For me, it's apple crisp. Any Shabbos, I make apple crisp. I don't know what's in the air. I don't know if I only make apple crisp when I'm at risk, or I'm only at risk when I make apple crisp. I don't know which is first. But I know from looking back at trackers of weeks I gained weight, apple crisp tends to not be my friend on Shabbos for a weight loss Shabbos. So you really want to see that. And that's why the details are extra important, because then you'll see, oh, on a week I gained, was it that I had apple crisp? Was it that I had dessert? Or was it the picks, bites, licks, and tastes between meals? And when I do that, I have a weight gain Shabbos, not when I actually treat myself and have dessert. Oh, it's not when I have an extra half slice of challah. It's when I have 4 slices of challah. And then when you have the extra half slice of challah, you see it and maybe you stay the same, or you only went up a few hundred grams. But when you tell yourself that there's no difference, you're just not going to track. If you go over what's perfect, then you really are never getting an honest, normal, healthy relationship with food where you're like, yeah, there is a difference between having an extra half a piece of challah and having an extra 4 slices of challah. There is even a difference between having 3 slices of challah and having 4 slices of challah. One could be it takes me 4 days to kind of get back to where I was before Shabbos, and the other one is Friday, Erev Shabbos. I finally hit the weight I was last Friday and feel like you're starting all over again. So those kind of nuances are super important. Any other questions here? Anybody else raising your hand that I can't see? Okay. Feel free to raise your hand as we keep going. I'm going to share my screen again.
Can I add one more thing about the accuracy? You wouldn't tell somebody to make brownies by saying to them, cocoa, eggs, vanilla, go for it. So reverse engineer. If you got to figure out what's working and what's not, I had 2 eggs. I had 2 pieces of whole wheat toast. I used Pam on the pan. I used oil on the pan. All of those details make a difference when you're making a recipe. Well, it's the same thing. You're trying to create the recipe for your optimal weight loss. If you could try to think of it that way, you would want to be as exact as possible, because figuring out the combinations that work for you are going to be combinations that are different for someone else. I cut out a piece of toast early on my journey. Lily's laughing. I had to add it back in to see weight loss again. Why? That's how I am. I mean, it was nice to hear that I could add it back in, but the point was, when I was just writing bread, that didn't tell her anything. Why was the same breakfast I was having every morning all of a sudden having a different result? Until she said, you're not tracking in detail, and then breaking those down into the pieces and the components. That was the insightful moment.
Not only that, but I definitely see, and Alana's talked about this, I don't track my gum, but I do track if I notice that I am reaching for gum all the time. Like literally I'm walking around with always chewing. Okay. Alana tracks even her stevia. And there have been times where I notice I go from having 1 stevia in my coffee to 3 stevia in my coffee. Guess what? The second I start tracking that, I notice what follows like a week after that happens. I'm off the rails in my eating. It's actually like the slow build of me heading off track happens in these small changes in my habits that really do make a difference. And when I start to catch, oh, all of a sudden I'm craving like a 3 stevia coffee, I might not be getting enough sleep this week. I might want to work on that before I have a meltdown and end up eating a whole bunch of other stuff I never needed to get there, because you watch the pattern happen. So let's look at Alana's sample day, okay? She has, now everybody's different. On the top, it says the date, the weight, and your total weight loss. Everybody is different. I have clients who track per a tracker. This is my weight loss so far for this tracker. I have clients who from like the last time they kind of were off and on tracking, from their low, from their high, just for that week. Everybody's a little bit different. And this, you kind of want to try, track, and see what is the most motivating to you. And that gets you the most excited to track your weight every day. So I have somebody who actually tracks her weekly weight loss and her to-date weight loss. She does both of them. So it depends on how data-oriented you want to be. Hours of sleep. This is so important. I can't tell you how many days my food is a weight loss day and my sleep is not a weight loss day. And you gotta really dig for patience and really say, okay, I hit pause on my weight loss until I can get my sleep back in line. And sometimes that can happen for a week or 2 when life happens to us. And we really have to then call on our team of support in our home and be like, my body is really struggling right now. Like that's what it means when you're eating like a weight loss day and you're not losing weight. My body's really struggling right now with the amount of sleep I'm getting. Is there anything we can do to shoulder some of the nighttime cleanup, or to help me get an extra half hour of sleep in the morning, or maybe even reorganizing your workout time and taking, exercises extra credit, taking, 2 days to do a shorter workout so that you can get more sleep if you see that that's something that's really important to you. Mindset. This is where I really truly believe in these cards. If you struggle with picking a mindset every day, download, and I downloaded some as a sample. You can download the cards straight from Beachbody on Demand. Ask your coach, because that's not part of this video. And you can choose one every single day and try to say, you know what? I don't know what my mindset is, but I know what I want my mindset to be. I want my mindset to be, I am awesome today. And I'm going to grow that mindset in my tracker. So Alana's tracking her water. As you can see, each bottle On the top is a 30-ounce bottle. And that gives you a concept of, well, you may be at 2 or 3 bottles or 4 bottles. There are people who, to get weight loss, ideal weight loss, are hitting 6 or 7 bottles. So if you're really struggling with 2 bottles, like, get some perspective. It could be 3 or 4 will be more than enough for you. But if you're not getting the results you want and you feel like your food's in line, you might be willing to look beyond and say, hey, what would happen if I got 1 more bottle? Or as summer comes, hitting higher numbers of bottles. Not only that, but Alana also tracks that she has water actually before she eats, which is really plated. It starts with water first. There are times where I'm having water between meals, but I'm actually not being mindful to have water before each meal. And it 100% makes a difference as to whether or not I go for seconds or I overeat or I feel overfull, which I joke like just opens up my second stomach. Can anybody else relate to that? Like you hit overfull and it's like, oh, I have a whole nother stomach. I can eat twice as much. Once I fill up the first, then I open the second. Versus if I stick to one stomach, I'm totally good and I'm full satisfied and moving on. And a lot of that has to do with water first, especially if you've been overweight for a long time, okay? If you've been overweight for a long time, your stomach is a little stretched out and that water first actually starts to send satiety hormones to your body so that you get fuller faster when really you might have stretched yourself out a little bit and not get those hormones otherwise as early on in your eating. Okay. Do you see the accessories she puts in? She put it with unsweetened almond milk. She used any boost. She used a half a banana, a tablespoon of almond butter. She used accessories to make her Shakeology delicious, but she tracked them. Water, 2 turnips worth of fries with marinara sauce. Okay, 2 turnips. She even tracked the amount of veggies. Why? Because she has to know how much keeps her full. If she's going to have an open-faced turkey burger on a half of a small whole wheat bun, then she needs to know next time she makes that turkey burger, if she only makes 1 turnip of fries, it could be that she's going to be hungry earlier. So it's really important that she knows what's her volume of vegetables that she needs to be full and satisfied. Okay. Water, apple cinnamon tea with a splash of unsweetened almond milk because she was still full from lunch. And then before dinner, she had water, water, water. My guess that means is between snack and dinner, she had plenty of time to drink lots of water. Then she had cauliflower fried rice, and she wrote down she had a huge dinner. She had an entire bag of cauliflower rice and reduced sodium soy sauce and 2 teaspoons of sesame oil and a half a cup of carrots and full 2 chicken thighs, okay? And this is a real weight loss day at 120 pounds, plus a handful of cherry tomatoes. If you are not eating enough at dinner and you're eating an early dinner, you're not setting yourself up for success, okay? It's really important to make sure you're eating enough. And if you're not writing down the volume of vegetables that you're eating, you might really be leaning into that old, not nourished, not full and satisfied, not mindful mindset of eat less, lose weight. And it's really, if the one thing that people will tell you who lost 50 pounds or more with TV mindset will tell you they are eating more than they've ever eaten in their lives. It's just also a lot more vegetables. Also, you see, she used a full 2 teaspoons of sesame oil for all of that, okay? It wasn't like she didn't allow herself to have delicious, yummy accessories that were gonna make that super delicious. I'll also call your attention to the fact that she had a mix of raw vegetables and cooked vegetables, which also gives you a concept of kind of what you wanna have at dinner, especially when you're gonna have so much cooked vegetables. I definitely also try to put in a raw vegetable in there. Okay. Yeah, exercise, extra credit. She did a yoga class and her me time was small. It's small things. I just stayed on my mat for 10 minutes and breathed after the yoga class. She went to the bathroom and she is really full and satisfied with her day. That's why today was great. Do not skip these cool pages in the middle of the tracker that have the sayings. Again, each one is really there for a purpose. Water first, veggies most keep you full and satisfied so you can make better food choices throughout the day. If you've grown up with weight issues or you've developed weight issues throughout your adult life, these are not the things that you are saying to yourself in your head. Come on, right? We are not telling ourselves all day, I love to be full and satisfied so I can make better choices. We're saying, oh, don't eat that. Or sure, I need that. Do I need, like, no. These are the things we want to be repeating. These are the mindsets we want to be growing so that maintaining this weight loss feels effortless or a lot less effortful. Okay. Questions on the tracker, questions on the mindset, challenges that you currently face in having a positive attitude towards tracking, be honest. Yael, Vicky, Bayla, Judith, Jen, anybody, what are maybe some things that you're struggling with around your mindset on how to have a positive relationship with your tracker? Anybody? Feel free to raise your hand.
Yeah, I was trying to speak, but we couldn't hear her.
Yael?
You go ahead, Mr.
Lily, you and I discussed what I'm struggling with my tracker.
Right. Did this help give you kind of a concept of how it can be more of a private thing in your own head for cultivating a positive relationship?
Yes, and I would like to know where I can I came in 9 minutes late. I would like to know where I can download those sheets.
Here. Let me share my screen one more time. And Yael, if you had a question in the meantime, you can come on. Here we go. You see here is the to be mindset. You see this?
Less
Yes.
than a minute, Lil, just pay attention.
Resources. And then you see resources, tracker. You download it to here. And then we downloaded it straight to the computer. And you can even use it on your computer and keep it on your phone or your computer.
Oh, wonderful.
Straight into it so nobody else has to see it if it's, you know, a problem in your home, and it's for you. And the more that you have a positive relationship with what you're eating and it's not judgmental, the more positive it'll be for everybody. We have 1 minute left. So a last question, anybody else? Bayla, quick, go for it. Unmute.
Okay. I find that there are specific times during the day, usually the afternoon, where it's like a 2-hour window where no matter what I do, I'm starving. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's like from 4 to 6, I'm like ravenous. And it doesn't matter how much water I drink, and it doesn't matter